Are you tired of renting, having roommates, living with your parents? I'm Denise Schilling, real estate agent, and today we're going to get you on the fast track to that home ownership. The first thing you should do is shop for a lender, and do not go with the lender with the lowest rate. They often advertise low rates to reel you in, and then you get charged high fees elsewhere. Talk to a real estate agent if you don't have a good lender, and they can refer one to you. You want to make sure that you get that pre-qualification letter. Not only will you know exactly what you can afford when you're looking for a house, but also in a hot seller's market, you might lose that perfect house if you don't have that pre-qualification letter. If you're in a bidding war with another buyer and the other buyer has the pre-qualification letter, the seller often is going to choose that one because they're more prepared and less of a chance of their loan not going through. Also, in a hot seller's market, a seller might refuse somebody's offer if it does not have that pre-qualification letter with it. Now, speaking of that lender is going to ask for paperwork. So start getting your W-2s, your bank statements for the last couple of months. Speak with the lender and they will give you a list of documentation that they need. Start thinking about your finances. Do you have debt to pay off? How much do you have in savings? A lender might say that you can afford, say, $2,000 a month, but you don't want to stretch yourself that thin. How much do you want to pay per month? Now, if you're like me and you like to research and you like to know answers right now, maybe you even have an appointment with a lender tomorrow, but you want to know now. You can go online to different websites like bankrate.com and many others, and they have calculators that you can estimate what you can afford. Now, keep in mind, when you do these, you want to make sure that the PITI is in that payment. Your mortgage payment includes the principal on the house, the interest, the taxes, the insurance. So you want to make sure all of those are included in that estimate that you're doing because it's going to be part of your mortgage payment. Now, down payments can be scary, and it's usually the main reason that I hear that people say that they're not buying because they don't have a down payment. Yes, 20% is ideal, so you don't have to pay the PMI, which is a mortgage insurance. But most first-time home buyers don't have 20%, especially in places like Denver. 20% can be a hefty chunk of money. You can get into a house with as low as 3.5% or even less, and there are so many programs to help you out. Talk to your lender and they can advise you on different programs that are available. CHFA is a popular one that home buyers use to get into a house. If you are a teacher, EMT, firefighter, law enforcement, ask about HUD's Good Neighbor Next Door program, which is a program to help individuals in those professions get into a house. There are so many options, so don't dismiss home buying just because you don't have a 20% down payment. Check out the links below for more information on CHFA and HUD's Good Neighbor Next Door program and see if it might be an option for you. Now is the fun part. Sit down with your real estate agent, give me a call if you don't have one, and go over your needs on your new place. How many bedrooms, bathrooms, what is every single thing that you need, and write all of those down. Now, this part's gonna be a little bit tougher, but write down the 5 most important things that you have to have. Once you have those 5 items, scratch off 2 of them. And I say that because we have such short inventory right now. You might not find the house with your 5 requirements. What 2 are you okay with not having? And make sure that your real estate agent knows this. When they send properties to you, you want to make sure that you're getting properties that may not have those 2 items as well. You actually might find your perfect house that didn't have that one requirement. For instance, maybe you wanted an extra bathroom, but you found the perfect house that has everything else plus more, but you're just missing that extra bathroom. Maybe you're okay with that. So make sure your agent knows that so that they don't eliminate those homes when they're sending possible houses to you. Now, keep in mind, when you go to the closing table, it's more than the down payment that you're paying. There are closing costs, and you should estimate it between 2 and 5% of your purchase price. If you go online, you can do a search for a buyer estimated net sheet, and you can put in those numbers and it'll give you an estimate of what your cost will be. Your real estate agent can get a more accurate one for you. So if you have a real estate agent, ask them and they can provide one of those for you. Also, keep in mind that there are other expenses when you're buying a house. You do not want to skip these steps. If not, watch my video, the 7 most expensive costly mistakes that buyers make sure that you watch that. But you do not want to skip inspections. It's going to cost probably about $350 to get a really good inspector out there, and they'll write up a report, usually between 40 to 100 pages long, of everything minor and major they can see with the house. If there are other issues that they suggest that you have checked out, possible termite, mold, other things, you want to make sure that you get an expert to check that as well. If there is an issue, it's something that you can bring up to the seller during the inspection objections and ask them to correct it. This is why you do not want to skip the inspections. You don't want to skip because you don't have $350 to pay for an inspector and then get into the house and realize there is thousands of dollars worth of damage that the seller might have fixed if you caught before you closed. Now, when your offer is accepted, congratulations, by the way, you're going to have a couple of days before you have to drop off your earnest money check. And that amount is usually between $1,000 and $10,000. $5,000 is a little more common depending on the price of house that you're buying. And this money will be credited back to you at the closing table. So say you're putting $50,000 cash towards the house and you provided a $5,000 earnest money check at the beginning of the transaction. That $5,000 is credited back to you at the closing table, so you only need $45,000 cash towards the house. Also keep in mind, a benefit of buying a house is that you have 1 month of no payment. Mortgage banks usually give you a 1-month break after closing. So say you close on December 20th. You typically don't have to make your first mortgage payment until February 1st. So you have January to kind of catch up on your expenses that you paid through closing. Congratulations, you are almost there. Once you find that perfect house, your real estate agent will walk you through everything, and they'll do most everything behind scenes, so you don't have to stress about every step of the way. So trust the real estate agent that you're working with. If you don't have one, give me a call. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, comment below and say hello, and I will see you next week.